The following is a DW Ancient Babylon production. The Ubaid culture, a significant period in Mesopotamia, is characterized by the presence of large, unwalled village settlements, multi-roomed rectangular mud brick houses, and the emergence of the first temples as public architecture. This culture witnessed the development of a two-tiered settlement hierarchy with centralized large sites of over 10 hectares surrounded by smaller village sites of less than 1 hectare. The Ubaid culture serves as a transition point between prehistory and the dawn of early urban civilization. Its name is derived from the site where pottery from this period was initially discovered, Tel al-Ubaid in southern Mesopotamia, where extensive excavations were carried out by Henry Hall in 1919 and later by Leonard Woolley. Sumer, located in the southernmost region of ancient Mesopotamia, is widely regarded as the birthplace of civilization. The term Sumer originates from the Akkadian Empire and translates to land of the civilized kings. During the early Ubaid period, the culture was concentrated in the heartland of Sumer, near the old coastline of the Persian Gulf. This marked the establishment of the first permanent settlements on the arid southern plains, close to the confluence of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The initial settlers were not Sumerians, but a group known as the Ubaid people, whose origin remains uncertain. They likely arrived in the valley around 8500 BC, as primitive agricultural villages were being established, 2 millennia prior to the rise of the Hassuna culture. The allure of agriculture likely played a role in attracting them to the region. These settlers primarily clustered in the southernmost part of the valley, bordering the reed-filled swamps that dominated the delta, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed into the Persian Gulf. This location positioned them perfectly for the forthcoming agricultural revolution. The entry of the Sumerians into the region is uncertain. The Sumerians referred to themselves as the black-headed people, and their land, in cuneiform script, was simply referred to as the land, or the land of the black-headed people. In the biblical book of Genesis, Sumer is known as Shinar. These Sumerians, benefiting from access to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, were the first to develop extensive irrigated agriculture. They harnessed the waters of these rivers, primarily the Euphrates, to cultivate vast areas of alluvial desert. Over time, they refined their irrigation systems, channeling small canals to supply water to their crops, and sparing themselves the laborious task of manually carrying water. These canals became increasingly sophisticated and extensive over the centuries. Consequently, there was a surplus of grain beyond the immediate needs of the farmers, allowing the people of Sumer to invest time in developing new skills. They became inventive and thoughtful, leading to the emergence of artisans, traders, priests, scribes, and merchants. A system of governance took shape, along with an organized religion and a social hierarchy, laying the foundation of what would be recognized as civilization. Over time, large villages evolved into small cities during a period of rapid urbanization. The Ubaid culture expanded rapidly, displacing the earlier Halaf culture in northern Mesopotamia. Ubaid goods also reached regions along the Persian coast to the south and Arabia, indicating the growth of a trading network emanating from southern Mesopotamia. Additionally, fishing boats made their first appearance during this era. However, challenges arose for the Sumerians. Unlike the farming lands on either side of the Nile, Sumer's soil was heavily silted, which posed continuous problems for their irrigation systems. Additionally, the timing of floods, occurring in late spring or early summer due to melting snow in the Taurus Mountains, made it difficult to cultivate both spring and autumn crops. Moreover, the soil beneath the surface contained a high concentration of salt deposits, making farming more complex and challenging compared to Egypt. The region also experienced more raids and early warfare, exacerbating food shortages whenever irrigation ditches were not properly maintained. According to the Sumerian king list, the gods established the city of Eridu, located in Sumer, as the place where they granted humanity the necessary gift for building a civilized society. While Uruk was commonly considered the oldest city in the world, ancient Mesopotamians believed that Eridu was the primary city where order was established and civilization began. During the Ubaid period, Eridu likely covered an area of 10 hectares and housed as many as 4,000 inhabitants. This period also witnessed the invention of the wheel, which was likely first used in pottery making. Artisans would spin a lump of clay on a horizontal plate balanced on an axle to shape round utensils, employing the same methods that potters still use today. The Sumerians were the first to turn the potter's wheel on its side and adapt it for transportation. The innovation enabled farmers to cultivate land located further from their villages or towns, as animals hitched to wheeled carts could carry 3 times the load they could bear on their backs or drag on flat-bottomed sledges. As social stratification increased and villages grew, an early elite class emerged. This group likely consisted of families connected to the village leader or chieftain. As the leader's power and influence grew, so did the status of this elite class. Power became hereditary, laying the groundwork for future city-states. Communal religious activities were another important aspect of this period. The earliest Ubaid temple at Eridu was a simple one-room shrine exhibiting the basic features that would characterize later Mesopotamian temples, such as an ornamental facade, an altar niche, and an offering table. Evidence suggests that a primitive accounting system was already in use during this time. Small clay counters found inside pots at Tel Abada indicate the presence of an incipient accounting system, which eventually developed into writing. By 8000 BC, small clay tokens of various shapes were employed by Near Eastern farmers to keep inventory of their commodities. For instance, a coned-shaped token might represent a specific quantity of barley stored in a granary. This system would undergo significant expansion during the subsequent Uruk period, which began around 3900 BC and witnessed the gradual surpassing of Eridu by the nearby city of Uruk as the prominent center of Sumerian religious life. The late Ubaid period also marked the onset of the Copper Age, as early metal tools appeared alongside traditional stone tools. Archaeologically, the transition from the Ubaid period to the Uruk period is marked by a gradual shift from painted pottery produced domestically on slow wheels to a wide range of mass-produced unpainted pottery crafted by specialists using fast wheels. The Ubaid culture paved the way for the development of full-fledged civilization in southern Mesopotamia over the next 1,000 years. The prehistoric cultures discussed here demonstrate that various cultural aspects of later Near Eastern history evolved over extensive periods. The culmination of these processes occurred in the 4th millennium BC, when several innovations led to the establishment of Sumer civilization.